You are one of the people Brenda Wanga just mentioned in her story who fought for better governance, for the voice of the people to be heard, alongside big names like David Gitari, Ndingi Mwananzeki. What is your comparative analysis looking like between the time you were the leader of the clergy and now, especially on topical issues?
Thank you, Trevor. You see, today, the time has changed, both here, Zimbabwe or South Africa. That's the only place I know clergy talked in the whole of continent. In Asia, only Cardinal Sin in the Philippines. And I may tell you why. Yeah. We were opposing a monolithic system, or called apartheid, called one-party system here and in the Philippines. And therefore, it was very, very clear that we are not polarized between two parties. We fought for multi-party. Yeah. Today, because those parties were formed on ethnic basis mainly, if you talk like Cardinal Joy, you are moved on the defense to defend yourself if you criticize what hurts the other side. Or if you are Okoth, you are criticized that you are hurting the other side. So you have to be very brave, very educated, very sophisticated and complex to be able to transcend and not to fear that intimidation. So those churches today are not really silent or quiet as you are saying. They are silenced. They are silenced. They are quietened by the fear of that intimidation. First of all, lack of comprehension. Those bishops like Kitutu or myself who opposed the one-party system, yeah, they've succeeded to have them dismantled or apartheid dismantled. If you keep on telling Tutu that he is silent now, and he is not talking, there's no apartheid, there's no monolithic, because he'll be opposing one side, yeah, today. If you tell Muzoreba to rise again and do the same in Kenya, you tell Ukuru to rise and oppose the one-party autocratic state, yeah, he'll be at least opposing a side, and it will be in favor of the other side. So God, according to Kenya politics, is one, but there's dualism. He is one in faith, but when you come to practice, yeah, he is Luo, he is Kikuyu, he is Gema, he is Udhamaki.
So has the church been engulfed this tribalism?
Of the church is not all clergymen are educated. Yeah. Not all clergymen are sophisticated or urbanized, and somebody mentioned they are not all are metropolitan. Yeah. So they will act according to their environment, and their environment are very, very village. And not only the village, yeah, I heard you mention about prosperity gospel. There are people who are jobless who come to the church to get money. Yeah. But in our time, and even now, the majority of clergymen are silenced because of lack of sophistication, lack of comprehension of the issues. And when they talk of these issues, they burn their fingers. Yeah. And I think myself, I talk against.
And you are not afraid. So how does this current clergy come out of those?
But I am called traitor by those people who would call Namaki.
And that never cowed you.
You see, I'm saying, again, the churches are fear that if they talk, they are going to be considered like they are farmers, looking after cattle, at the donkeys and horses who happen to be rider, yeah, and picking up their droppings. You see, like picking up Uhuru's droppings when he talks about the Supreme Court, or Raila's droppings when he talks against AIBC. Yeah. We are not going to be farmers like that, picking after people. We have to have our own issues. What are issues other than picking droppings? Yeah. This kind of issue-based talk and telling people to go forward and move beyond the current politics, telling them there is Kenya, they are the world after Kenya. Okay. After not Kenya as a nation. Okay. There is a world after political parties, and there is a world that we'll have our grandchildren, yeah, and our children govern and rule this country. After all these who are talking now are dead. Yeah. So why be panicking? And even you look like you are panicked. Why have despondency? Yeah. Your question seems as if you are communicating panic to our children.
No, it's because they are quiet.
No, the church is silenced by the enormity, they are silent by the enormity and the complexity of pluralism, of multi-party.
Okay.
Because we come from singularities.
So how do they overcome
We come from particularities.
Yes.
And to be told to talk plural, to talk that kind of pluralism, it's not easy. You need to study, you need to learn. You need to understand. For
instance,
you're
saying they're not courageous enough to take a stand? Because you just told me here you were accused of being an Udamakishian and all that, but you still spoke your...
I see to now talk. I talk because, you see, when we go to... I've been attending mission. We are having an NCSK meeting to make a statement this coming Thursday and Friday. Because we make corrective decisions sometimes. I'm a member, I'm a patron of the NCSK. But that decision to make will be corrective. But individual decisions for those bishops, they ask me every time we meet. Each individual, you have been two-sided. Why are you talking? You talked against Moi. Why are you talking, not talking against Uhuru? Because he is a Kikuyu. That's what bishops from one side ask me. They ask, oh, you talked against... I tell them, look here, you are blackmailing them like Jesus was blackmailed. You are the Son of God, so turn bread in stone. Do what you did during Kenyatta's time because to prove yourself. I don't have to, don't get moved to the defense. Even Jesus on the cross was being told, you saved others, save yourself. You did this, do it. This kind of temptation is there. Even me, more oppressed, not oppressed, mainly oppressed, of course, by my own fellow clergymen. Every meeting we go, I can't even rest because I'm asked, why are you silent? Why are you not talking? I say, I don't have to talk because I have no issue like one party or apartheid to address. I'm addressing polarized situation.
Let me read you a tweet here from Professor James Olekiapi. Mike, you can bring this up. He says, where is the Kenyan clergy, spiritual leaders who will speak to peace of the nation for such a time as this? And the immediate response he got there from one Sila Mutie is that the silence is loud. In the end, we shall remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And I want to read one more here from J. Lister Nyaringo, who says, our clergy are manacled in tribalism and chasing money from politicians. They have forgotten their calling. We are like sheep with no shepherds.
Why don't politicians give me money? Anyway, let me ask myself.
What are your thoughts actually
I'm
on
just
the
saying, I said that there is verbal terrorism. When one clergyman talks, and he is told, you are Karenjin, you are Kikuyu, you are Pokomo, you are this, you are this. The others get scared because they too come from particularities. So there is that verbal terrorism. So we need now to retrain and retrain our clergymen, fresher courses, how to respond and act in a pluralistic manner, in a pluralistic situation. How not to fear some of them, their particularities, because some particularities are if you have been permanently excluded from power, like my Bishop Kogo and others from Nyanza, when we talk, I can see the burden they are carrying of their own people who fear and who feel the pain of permanent exclusion from power. And therefore they identify with their candidate coming from that kind of particularities. Because I'm pluralistic, I can understand.
And speaking of power, what do you make of the clergy giving politicians the pulpit as an avenue to gain political mileage?
Of course, the clergymen are beholden. They are property. Everything is the property of politicians today, including religion. And it's nothing that they don't control. But even in our time, they controlled our churches. I was defrocked. How many times? 3 times. Because of speaking. The clergymen can be in charge. No, politicians can control, because they are more educated, they are more influential, they control the same congregation, it is their constituency, they are members of that church, some are elders.
So how do they overcome this? How do they reclaim the position of the church?
Retrain our clergymen, I said, retrain our ministers to control a complex and a pluralistic situation which didn't exist when we were growing up, because you grow in an area and you only knew one environment. Today you grow in a metropolitan. I live in Kajiado. You grow. I have to live with the people of Kajiado who are not necessarily none I know before I came there. So we are saying that we need, first of all, and I want to to emphasize.
Yeah.
We need to change our seminaries, to build new seminaries, and to build new universities where we train people to behave and live, whether they are doctors,
Yeah.
whether they are lawyers, whoever they are. We need to retrain our people to think in a pluralistic, democratic manner.
Okay.
Because we don't have a democratic culture in this country. And that's what I'm advocating.
All right.
We create a democratic culture, and therefore the ministers and church clergymen will be democratic.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks for making time for us, Reverend Timothy Njoya. We have to leave it there for now. Very fine,
Okay,
Reverend.
thank you so
Thanks
much.
for coming. He's an activist and also an author. We'll be speaking to him more just to find out what happens next from here.